So, Paul, you were wondering about the why that window of the Magic podcast popped out. Here's what happens with me on Apple Podcast. Guess I don't want to show you my password. All right. I just finished listening to my last podcast, so I'm going to go into this, and it's going to show the last podcast I listened to. Well, if I hit play on it again, it'll start to play it again, but it's already listed as played. But if I go down to playing next, well, I got a bunch of episodes of podcasts listed, but they're ones that I've already listened to, so they're all going to be listed as unplayed. Now, I could go into this here, and you see, I could mark it as unplayed. But if I don't do that, a lot of times in the first, there it is, a lot of times in the first 30 seconds, the listen to podcast, it catches, oh, this has already been played, and it'll stop. And sometimes it don't. And when it don't, a lot of times when I scroll down like that, see, that one immediately went. Now see this one, since it's the one we just saw a minute ago, I bet you it won't, it will just keep playing, and I'll show you why. So now I've got the same Radiolab episode I just listened to. If I scroll down now, boom, it's all the old Radiolab episodes, which I've already listened to. So I'm going to go down to the bottom of those, hit the last one, because basically that's just a long playlist now. Then scroll through it right quick. All right. It didn't take me all the way to the bottom of the list because it didn't want to get there. Or maybe it did. Maybe I'm in the next list. Sometimes there'll be more. I'll get to the bottom of the list and there'll be another list. Let me go ahead and download it. I'm in a building that is a lot of it has the cinder blocks and steel beams, so it takes a while for my downloads to start sometimes. So give me a minute here. It says remove download as an option, so it looks like it's trying to download. It should ask me if I want to download it. Not sure why it's not yet. But now I'm at the end of the list because there were no more Radiolab episodes down there. So I'm going to go down to the bottom of this. Hit stop. Okay, in the last 21 seconds of the show. Well, last 2 minutes now. The time will jump around on these. Last 20 seconds. At double speed. As so many of my podcasts, I do listen to double speed. But not yours, Paul. Okay. Now it should jump back to the list of ones. Yeah, it's that same list of ones that I'd already listened to. That a lot of them, when I start to play them, it's just going to...
And can help you recognize employees, show customer appreciation, and outfit your teams with favorite products and brands, customized with your logo. At CustomInk.com, you can easily make your mark on all sorts of products, including water bottles.
And then every once in a while, I'll have one where it won't do that, where it'll just play it. Now, I don't remember if the Window to the Magic one was one that was like that I hit. Sometimes if I want to listen to one and it hasn't stopped, I will go in and I'll mark it unplayed and go ahead and listen to it again. That might be what I did with the Window to the Magic episode from 2017 that I listened to the other day that I complimented Calvin on. It may have been once it started to play, I'm like, ooh, this is good. Mark it as unplayed so I can listen to the whole thing. Or it might have just been one of those ones where it just played without recognizing it was unplayed, to just let it play. Sometimes it'll do that. It's like this one. This is only a 2 minute and something episode, so it's gonna play all the way through. Now, am I going to go to another one of the same thing? So probably, yep. So if I go down to this, it's all the episodes of this podcast. "15 seconds left." At double speed. And I bet you that's what's going to come up next, but let's see. No? Has it got more? Yeah, there's another whole page. Jump down to the end of the list of played episodes.
So please click the subscribe button and get in touch with your group. Peace.
And it jumps back into the short. Well, this is today's date. So this one says remove download. It says mark as unplayed. So it's played. So it's asking me if I want to mark it as unplayed. So I bet you if I go down here, yeah, all the episodes of shortwave. Go down to that. So this is how I got into an old episode of Windows of the Magic, because it just does this. When I run out of podcast episodes, I'm not ever really out of podcast episodes. It always wants to play old ones. And sometimes I can get that list clear. But sometimes while I'm trying to clear that list, I'll find something that I want to listen to again, like the episode that Calvin did that I complimented him on the other day. So that's what happened that you were asking about. You were kind of wondering, how did that come up? Well, that's how. It's not a technical description, but you can see what it does. I'm really surprised it's not asking me if I really want to download it or not. It says 0.0 seconds. There we go. There's the download button. Do you want to use your data for that? Sure. It's supposedly unlimited. It's just throttled like heck. Go back 15 seconds. No? This is how slow it can be when it's got to download something. Yeah, download failed. Okay, so what's it going to do now? If I hit... Sometimes it'll say it can't download it, but it'll still stream, like, with how they'll play even though you haven't downloaded the episode, like you haven't hit the download episode button, and it'll play like it's a streaming service or something. I don't understand why Apple Podcasts works the way it does, or why it fails to work the way that it fails to work. That's just the way it is. It's weird. It's Apple Podcasts.